Have you ever felt that being by yourself is a kind of exile, or that without constant noise, you'd shrink into loneliness? What if solitude is a secret doorway to your deepest strength, and that living alone could actually make you more alive than ever? What if the stillness that scares you could become your teacher, your ally, your source of joy? Today, I invite you on a journey. Live alone, live fully. A path shaped by ancient Buddhist wisdom, but also by real, modern life. By the end, I hope you'll see that being alone doesn't mean being small. It means growing wide. Part 1. Stepping into solitude and facing the fear. When you first live by yourself, silence hits differently. It's not the kind of quiet you wait for. It's the kind that seems to stare back at you. In those early days, your thoughts seem louder, the nights longer, but these moments are beginnings. I remember a friend of mine, Lynn, who moved to a new city for work. For the first month, she felt disoriented. No family dinners, no roommate to distract her, only her own schedule. She nearly moved back, but then she made a small choice. Every morning, she'd write 5 minutes about whatever was on her mind. No filter. Angry thoughts, hopes, regrets. By doing that, she started recognizing her internal rhythms. What worries her most at dawn? What brings her peace at midday? She began to see that the scary quiet is also a mirror. It shows you how you really are beneath the masks. That's how living alone starts to shift. When you stop running from your thoughts and begin listening. Buddhist teachings often speak of balance. Not overcrowding your life with distractions, but also not letting loneliness crown you. There's a middle way. Solitude isn't punishment. It's a possibility. The courage to sit with yourself unfiltered is a first step toward being fully alive. Part 2. From loneliness to connection with yourself and others. Loneliness is often painted as a villain in the story of solitude. But what if it's keeping you company in an unexpected way? In Buddhist wisdom, emotions aren't enemies but messengers. Loneliness can be a signal. You're off course from your deeper needs, or you miss connection. Here's another example. I had a student, Min, who lived alone in a small apartment. He often felt lonely, especially evenings. One night, he pulled out an old sketchbook and started drawing faces. Not to sell or show, just because the shapes felt grounding. Through art, he started expressing longing, love, regret. Weeks later, he shared some drawings online, and people responded, shared their own stories. Suddenly, he felt seen, less alone. The act of creating became a bridge. We can also practice loving-kindness meditation, metta, as taught in Buddhist tradition. First, directing kindness toward yourself. May I be safe, may I be peaceful, especially when you feel insecure or lonely. Then extending it to people you love, people you barely know, even those you find difficult. It reshapes the loneliness into a felt sense of connection, because you realize we're all going through something similar. Churches, meditation groups, book clubs, even online ones, become Sangha in modern form. Communities of support. It's not the quantity of friends. It's the sincerity of presence. Part 3. Building independence and choosing freedom. Living alone challenges you to become your own caregiver. You learn to cook, pay bills, structure your time, for better or worse. And that's powerful because these everyday actions speak deeply. They say, I am responsible for my livelihood, for my inner peace, for my growth. One story that sticks. My cousin Hugh moved out after college. First, grocery shopping was overwhelming. Then cooking for one felt wasteful. She started meal prepping, simple soups, fresh veggies, and found pleasure even in that. Cooking became ritual, chopping, tasting, savoring. Those dinners she made for herself weren't lonely, but intimate. She learned rhythm and control, and that spilled over. She organized her finances, set small saving goals, planned small trips. She discovered that independence doesn't mean isolation. It means ownership. Freedom emerges when you realize you can choose your schedule, your relationships, your values without someone else's shadow. It's not always easy. Sometimes it's lonely, sometimes confusing. But choosing what aligns with you, what feels authentic, that is the sweetest freedom. Part 4. Cultivating peace, contentment, and spiritual growth. Quiet isn't just absence of noise. It's presence of awareness. Through mindfulness, eating slowly, walking slowly, observing sensations, you start living the moments. Buddhist teachings emphasize that your response to situations, not just external events, shapes whether you are peaceful. I often go on weekend solo hikes. No music, no calls. Just walking, breathing, noticing leaves, sky, how my legs feel. The first time I did it, I felt awkward, restless. The second, I shed tension. The third, I realized I was carrying memories and worries that had nothing to do with now. By sitting with the present, solitude became sanctuary. Gratitude plays a starring role. Being thankful for hot water, for sunlight, for a warm blanket at night, or a breeze through the window. These little things are stitches in our daily happiness. Over time, you notice more. Gratitude becomes less an effort, more of a lens. Spiritual exploration may follow naturally. Meditative practices, reading philosophical or religious texts, sitting quietly in nature or in temple spaces. Whatever resonates. It becomes less about dogma, more about depth. Part 5, Lesson Reflections in your takeaway. When we step back and look at the journey of living alone, certain lessons rise to the surface. Lessons that aren't just abstract ideas, but lived truths. They are truths discovered in the silence of our rooms, in the quiet evenings when no one knocks at the door, and in the mornings when we brew coffee for one. And I want to spend some time with you here, slowly unfolding these reflections, because they're the real treasures that transform solitude from emptiness into abundance. The first lesson is that solitude is not a void, it's a fertile ground. In our culture, we often see solitude as something lacking, a gap to be filled, an emptiness to be feared. But think of a garden. Soil looks empty at first. Nothing seems to be happening. But beneath the surface, seeds are germinating, roots are spreading. Solitude works the same way. When we are alone, the visible noise of life falls away. And in that space, ideas, creativity, clarity begin to take root. Many of the world's greatest thinkers, Buddha under the Bodhi tree, Thoreau by Walden Pond, even modern creators retreating for inspiration, found that their deepest insights didn't come from crowded rooms, but from stillness. Another lesson is about loneliness. It's tempting to label loneliness as the enemy of solitude. But loneliness, when we listen closely, is a messenger. It tells us about our longings, about our hunger for connection, about the parts of ourselves we may be neglecting. I once knew an elderly woman, Mrs. Ellis, who had lost her husband and lived alone in a small cottage. At first, she told me, the silence of the house felt unbearable. But then she began keeping a journal where she wrote letters to her late husband, sharing her day, her thoughts, even her frustrations. Over time, she realized that loneliness would show her two things. First, that she deeply valued companionship, and second, that she still had love to give. She started volunteering at a community library, reading stories to children. The loneliness didn't vanish overnight, but it transformed. It became a bridge toward connection. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that everything is impermanent. Even feelings like loneliness, they pass like clouds in the sky. If we resist them, they linger. If we watch them, they float away. Loneliness is not a permanent label. It's a passing weather system. And the lesson is this: don't fight loneliness. Learn from it. The third reflection is about independence as a practice. When you live alone, you are your own caretaker. You pay the bills, cook the meals, decide when to rest, when to rise. At first, this can feel overwhelming, but independence is not achieved once and for all. It's built step by step through small acts of responsibility. Think about cooking. Making dinner for one might seem trivial, but it is a profound act of independence. You're saying to yourself, I am worth this meal. I can nourish myself. Paying your bills on time, keeping your home in order, even fixing a broken chair. These aren't just chores. They are affirmations of your ability to stand on your own 2 feet. And yet, true independence also means knowing when to ask for help. The Buddha taught the middle way, neither clinging too tightly nor letting go completely. Independence doesn't mean isolation. It means finding balance. Do what you can alone and reaching out when needed. There is no shame in either. Both are part of being fully human. A fourth lesson is about peace and presence. Living alone offers a rare opportunity, the chance to build a relationship with peace. In a noisy world, peace is a scarce commodity. But when you are by yourself, peace is waiting. It's in the way the morning light filters through your window. It's in the rhythm of your footsteps when you walk alone. It's in the steam rising from your tea. To live fully in solitude, you must learn to see these small things not as empty, but as gifts. Here's a story. A man I met at a meditation retreat once told me that he used to dread weekends because without social plans, the silence of his apartment would suffocate him. But after practicing mindfulness, he discovered that sitting quietly with his tea in the morning became his favorite ritual. He learned to notice details, the fragrance of the leaves, the warmth of the cup, the texture of his breath. Suddenly, the silence stopped being an enemy. It became a friend. The ordinary became extraordinary. This is what Buddhist wisdom means by mindfulness. Being fully present in the moment, not rushing to the next task, not replaying yesterday, not fearing tomorrow, just being here. In that presence, peace arises naturally. The fifth reflection is about freedom and authenticity. When you live alone, you hold the keys to your own kingdom. You decide when to wake, what to eat, how to spend your time. At first, this freedom can feel intoxicating. Late nights, endless scrolling, doing whatever you want. But real freedom is deeper. It's the freedom to live authentically. To ask, what do I actually value? What do I want my days to look like? Who am I when no one is watching? This is not an easy journey. Sometimes you realize you've been living by others' expectations for so long that you don't even know what you want. But solitude gives you the laboratory to experiment. Try painting. Even if you're not good, try gardening. Even if you've never touched soil, try learning an instrument or cooking a new dish or simply sitting quietly. Each choice reveals something about who you are, and gradually, you build a life that reflects your true self, not a borrowed one. The sixth reflection is about contentment. We live in a society addicted to more. More money, more possessions, more followers, more status. But living alone teaches you that happiness doesn't have to be outsourced. It can be cultivated in small, simple ways. Contentment is savoring that first sip of morning coffee. It's reading a good book without interruption. It's noticing the sunset outside your window. It's realizing you don't need a crowd to feel alive. I once heard a Zen saying, "Enough is a feast." Living alone trains you to recognize enough. Enough food, enough space, enough love for yourself. And in that recognition, life becomes lighter. You stop chasing endlessly, and you start enjoying deeply. The seventh lesson is growth through adaptation. Life alone will test you. A pipe might burst. An illness might leave you weak. An unexpected bill might appear. These moments can feel daunting, but each challenge is also a teacher. They show you your resilience. They remind you that you can adapt, that you can bend without breaking. Like a tree in the wind, you become stronger not by resisting change, but by flowing with it. Remember, every difficulty you face alone is a rehearsal for life's larger challenges. The skills you learn, problem solving, patience, resilience, will serve you everywhere. Solitude is not just about peace. It's also about growth. Finally, the eighth reflection, connection and compassion. Ironically, living alone can make you appreciate relationships more. When you don't have constant company, you value the moments you share with others. And you also realize that compassion begins with yourself. If you can be gentle with your own flaws, patient with your own growth, kind to yourself when you stumble, then you'll naturally extend that kindness to others. Buddhist practice often emphasizes compassion as the heart of wisdom. Living alone is your training ground. By learning to care for yourself, you strengthen your ability to care for the world. Part 6. Nurturing social connections while living alone. One of the great paradoxes of living alone is that the more you retreat into solitude, the more you begin to see the value of connection. At first glance, solitude and community seem like opposites, two poles pulling us in different directions. But the truth is, they nourish each other. When we learn to enjoy our own company, we also learn how to show up better for others. And when we nurture social connections wisely, our solitude becomes richer, warmer, more balanced. I want to spend some time here because this is where many people stumble. They think living alone means cutting ties, or worse, that choosing solitude means choosing loneliness. It doesn't have to be that way. In fact, Buddhist wisdom emphasizes interdependence. Pratityasamutpada, the idea that everything exists in relation to everything else. Even the tree outside your window exists because of sunlight, water, soil, and air. In the same way, we too are woven into a web of connection, even when we live by ourselves. Let me share a story. There's a retired teacher I know named David. He lives alone after his wife passed away. At first, he withdrew from everyone, family, friends, neighbors. He told himself, "I don't want to be a burden. I'll handle my own life quietly." But after months of silence, he realized his world was shrinking. His laughter was fading. Then one day, he joined a local community choir, not because he was a great singer, but because he missed voices. Week by week, he sang alongside strangers who soon became friends. And you know what he told me? He said, "I discovered that even in solitude, I don't have to be silent. My voice belongs to a chorus, and the chorus gave me my life back." That's the beauty of nurturing social connections. You don't need 100 friends. You need genuine ones. You don't need constant chatter. You need moments of authentic presence. Here's another truth. Living alone often makes us more intentional about our relationships. When you don't share a roof with anyone, every conversation, every meeting, every dinner becomes a conscious choice. You begin to ask, who makes me feel seen? Who energizes me? Who drains me? This clarity is a gift. It allows you to invest in quality rather than quantity. Think about it. How often do we sit in a crowded room, surrounded by people, yet feel utterly alone? And how often do we sit with just one true friend and feel more connected than ever? Living alone gives us a perspective to choose depth over breadth. Now let's weave in some Buddhist wisdom. The Buddha spoke about Sangha, community, not as a luxury, but as an essential part of the path. He knew that while solitude is powerful, companionship on the journey is just as vital. In modern terms, your Sangha could be your book club, your yoga class, your online group where people share struggles and victories. It doesn't have to be religious or formal. It simply has to be sincere. And sincerity is key. Have you ever noticed that when you're truly present with someone, listening deeply without distraction, it feels healing, almost sacred? That's because presence is the highest form of connection. Living alone teaches you to be present with yourself, and that presence naturally extends to others. When you sit with a friend and listen fully, without waiting to interrupt, you are offering a rare gift, attention. And attention is love in action. Technology also plays its part. For many seniors and adults living alone, video calls, group chats, or even simple messaging apps are lifelines. Some dismiss these connections as virtual, but they are real. I've seen people's eyes light up when their grandchildren wave at them through a screen. I've seen friendships blossom in online writing groups, painting circles, even gaming communities. The point isn't the medium. The point is the intention. If your heart is in it, connection flows through any channel. But here's a caution. Don't let online life replace real life. Digital connections should complement, not consume. A phone call is wonderful, but shared meal nourishes in a way pixels can't. So make it a practice. Once a week, invite someone over for tea or dinner. It doesn't have to be elaborate. A simple soup, bread, and conversation can create memories more lasting than any scroll through social media. And here's where living alone becomes an advantage: hospitality. When you live alone, your space is yours to open. You get to decide the mood, the rhythm, the welcome. Some of the most heartwarming evenings I've ever had were in small apartments with mismatched chairs, cheap wine, and conversations that lingered past midnight. Hosting doesn't require luxury. It requires warmth. And warmth multiplies when shared. Let's take a practical step. If you're living alone and feeling disconnected, start small. Write down 3 people you genuinely enjoy being with. Reach out to one this week. Call, invite, or simply check in. Create a routine around connection. Maybe Sundays are phone call day, or Wednesday nights are tea with a neighbor. By making connection part of your rhythm, it becomes less of a task and more of a flow. Another angle we don't often talk about is volunteering. Giving your time to others is one of the fastest ways to transform solitude into belonging. I've seen people who live alone find new purpose by reading at libraries, walking dogs at shelters, cooking meals at community kitchens. Why? Because service dissolved the boundary between me and them. Suddenly, your solitude is no longer isolation. It's fuel for contribution. There's an old Buddhist saying, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. Volunteering is that lamp, and the glow warms everyone. But let's not romanticize too much. Maintaining friendships takes effort. It's not enough to meet people. You have to water the relationship like a plant. If you neglect it, it withers. This means remembering birthdays, checking in during hard times, celebrating small victories together. It means not just talking, but listening. One of the most underrated skills in friendship is active listening. When your friend shares something, Do you listen to respond, or do you listen to understand? Try the second. Ask follow-up questions. Mirror their feelings. Let them know you truly hear them. Living alone can make you a better listener because you've already practiced listening to your own thoughts. Bring that gift to others. And yet, balance is crucial. Too much time with others, and you lose yourself. Too much time alone, and you risk isolation. The middle path here is fluid. Some weeks you may need more solitude, other weeks, more connection. Don't measure yourself by anyone else's calendar. Instead, tune in. Ask yourself, what nourishes me this week? Silence or company? And then honor that answer. Let me close this part with a story of contrast. A man named Jorge lived alone after retirement. He filled his days with endless TV and rarely left his apartment. Slowly, his energy drained, his joy diminished. On the other side, there's Elena, also retired and living alone. She joined a gardening club. Every Saturday, she met neighbors to tend flowers, share tips, and laugh over small mistakes. Her apartment was just as quiet as Jorge's, but her life was vibrant. What made the difference? Connections. Not many, not superficial, but meaningful. The lesson is clear. Living alone doesn't mean living unconnected. Solitude and connection are not enemies. They are partners. Solitude teaches you who you are. Connection teaches you who you are in relation to others. Together, they make a whole life. Part 7. Embracing personal freedom. When people talk about freedom, they often imagine something dramatic. Quitting a job, traveling the world, or breaking free from obligations. But true freedom can be quieter, subtler, and deeply personal. It's not always about leaving. It's about choosing. And living alone, perhaps more than any other life circumstance, gives us the chance to practice this freedom every single day. Think about it. When you wake up in your own space, without anyone else's alarm clock or expectations shaping your morning, you hold the pen. Will you rise early and stretch with the sunrise? Will you sleep in and savor the stillness? That small choice, yours alone, becomes an act of freedom. And from these small acts, bigger ones are born. But let's be honest, at first, freedom can feel overwhelming. I've seen people move into their first solo apartment, thrilled by the idea of independence. Yet, in the first few weeks, they find themselves paralyzed by the sheer number of options. What should I eat? Should I go out or stay in? Should I save money or spend it? The freedom that once sparkled can quickly become a burden. This is where Buddhist wisdom offers a gentle compass. The Buddha spoke of right intention, living in alignment with your values, not just your impulses. Freedom without direction is chaos. Freedom with intention is empowerment. Living alone invites you to ask, what truly matters to me? What do I want my life to stand for? Once you answer that, freedom no longer overwhelms. It guides. Let me share a story. A young woman I knew named Mai had lived with her parents well into adulthood. When she finally moved into her own space, she thought it would feel like paradise. But the first month was harder than expected. She binged TV until late at night, ate whatever was easy, and skipped her morning routine. She told me, I thought freedom meant no rules, but I realized no rules meant no energy. Then she made a shift. She asked herself, what do I want my freedom to create? Her answer surprised her. She wanted creativity and health. So she began painting again, something she hadn't done since high school. She started cooking one healthy meal each day, not because anyone told her to, but because she wanted to nourish herself. Slowly, her apartment transformed from a messy pit into a sanctuary filled with art supplies, books, and music. she discovered that freedom is not just the absence of constraints. It's the presence of choices that align with who you are. And that brings us to one of the greatest gifts of living alone, authenticity. When no one is watching, you are free to be yourself. That might sound simple, but many of us don't realize how much of our behavior is shaped by the gaze of others. We wear masks at work, adjust our tone with family, follow routines to please partners. Alone, those masks drop. You can sing loudly in the shower, dance in your pajamas, or sit in silence without judgment. But here's the deeper point. Authenticity isn't just about quirky habits. It's about rediscovering what you value. Do you love waking up at 5 a.m. to watch the sunrise or staying up late to write? Do you prefer quiet meals with candles or quick bites with a podcast? Do you find joy in gardening, painting, or simply gazing out the window? Living alone gives you permission to answer those questions honestly and to live by your answers. Buddhist teachings remind us that authenticity is the root of peace. Pretending to be someone else creates tension. Living as yourself creates harmony. The Buddha himself walked away from a life of luxury and expectation to follow his true path. He showed us that freedom begins with courage. The courage to step away from what others demand, and the courage to listen to your inner calling. But here's where many struggle. They confuse freedom with indulgence. Living alone doesn't mean abandoning discipline. In fact, the most liberating freedom comes with framework. Think of a musician. A guitar with no strings is useless, but a guitar with strings within limits creates infinite music. Your routines, your boundaries, your values, these are the strings. They don't trap you, they allow you to play your own melody. Let's ground this with some practical examples. If you live alone, set your own rituals. Maybe you light a candle each evening, signaling the transition from work to rest. Maybe you walk at sunrise, greeting the day before anyone else. These rituals anchor freedom, giving it rhythm. Design your space. Paint your walls a color you love. Fill your shelves with books that inspire you or plants that breathe life into your rooms. Your space reflects your spirit. Living alone means you get to decide what that reflection looks like. Experiment. Want to learn guitar at 2 a.m.? Go ahead. Want to try a plant-based diet or fast once a week? Or start journaling daily? You don't need consensus. You can try, fail, adjust, and discover without permission slips. Every small experiment becomes a way of reclaiming freedom, not as rebellion, but as exploration. Now, let's add another dimension: dreams. Freedom gives you space to chase them. When you live alone, your evenings are yours. Your weekends are open canvases. Will you spend them scrolling endlessly or sketching out the book you've always wanted to write? Will you let them dissolve into numbness or pour them into learning a new skill, building a side project, nurturing a passion? I met a man in his 60s who, after retirement and the loss of his spouse, found himself living alone for the first time. He could have let the quiet swallow him. Instead, he picked up the guitar he had abandoned decades earlier. Within a year, he was playing at local cafes, not for money, but for joy. He told me, "I thought my life was winding down, but freedom showed me it was just beginning again." That's the power of personal freedom. It revives dreams you thought were gone. Of course, freedom isn't always easy. Sometimes it's heavy. When no one else is around, decisions fall squarely on your shoulders. What job to take, where to live, how to spend money, all of it. Some nights you'll wish someone else would decide for you. That's natural. But remember, with responsibility comes empowerment. Every decision you make independently strengthens your confidence. Every problem you solve alone sharpens your resilience. Over time, you realize, I can handle life. And that realization is one of the most liberating freedoms you'll ever taste. Buddhist wisdom calls this empowerment the fruit of self-reliance. The Buddha urges followers to be a lamp unto yourself. Living alone teaches you exactly that. You become your own guide, your own caretaker, your own best friend. You stop outsourcing your happiness, and you start generating it from within. And here's the paradox. The more you embrace personal freedom, the more you are able to love others freely. Why? Because you're no longer clinging. You're not dependent on them for your sense of self. Instead, you can offer love as a gift, not a transaction. Authentic freedom doesn't isolate you. It prepares you for deeper, healthier relationships. So what's the lesson here? Freedom is not the absence of responsibility. Freedom is the alignment of life with your truth. When you live alone, you're given the stage to practice this alignment every day. You discover who you are. You design a space that reflects your soul. You chase dreams without waiting for approval. You create rituals that bring stability. You take responsibility for your choices and grow stronger. And through it all, you taste a freedom that no one can give you and no one can take away. Let me close part 7 with this thought. Living alone is like holding a blank canvas. Some people stare at it, afraid of mistakes. Others begin to paint. And through trial and error, they create something breathtaking. The freedom is not in the canvas itself. It's in the courage to pick up the brush. So I ask you, what picture will you paint with your freedom? Will you let the silence stay empty? Or will you turn it into music, color, laughter, peace? The choice is yours. That is the gift and the challenge of personal freedom. Outro. As we reach the end of this journey together, I want to leave you with one simple truth. Solitude is not emptiness. It is an invitation. An invitation to breathe deeper, to listen more carefully, and to discover the strength and peace already waiting inside you. Living alone, as we've explored, is not about isolation. It's about transformation. It's about turning silence into sanctuary, turning loneliness into understanding, and turning freedom into authenticity. The Buddha once taught that peace is not found outside. It blossoms within. And when we nurture that inner peace, our lives begin to bloom in ways we never thought possible. But the journey doesn't end here. In fact, this is only the beginning. Every moment you spend in reflection, every mindful breath you take, every small act of kindness you offer yourself or others, these are steps on the path. And each step makes you stronger, lighter, freer. That's what Dharma Lotus Stories is here for, to walk with you on that path, to share wisdom, stories, and reflections that help you live more peacefully and fully, whether you're surrounded by others or sitting quietly on your own. So if today's video spoke to your heart, even just a little, I invite you to join this community. Subscribe to Dharma Lotus Stories so you won't miss the next teaching, the next reflection, the next story that might be exactly what you need to hear. And while you're here, let us know in the comments, what has living alone taught you? Your story could become the gentle lantern that lights someone else's night. If you like, share this video with a friend, a loved one, or anyone who might be seeking peace in solitude. Together, we can grow a community of wisdom and compassion, one voice, one heart at a time. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for opening your heart. Until we meet again, may you walk gently, may you breathe deeply, and may you live fully, rooted in the wisdom of solitude and the beauty of the present moment. And remember, you are never truly alone.